Okay, welcome back. Today is September 10th, 2025. This is the Gen X trader here, uh, a ex-electrician, soft retired, 52-year-old, trying to learn the markets. And so I'm not a professional. I wouldn't even say that I'm successful or consistent yet at this point, but I'm learning. And I've been making a couple of videos this week, um, and trying to help other people, but really it's for my own review. In the past, I had done this on paper charts where I would print the chart out and mark it up. So I'm just trying to do something different here. So we're going to look at the trades from this morning and also how to get into trading if you're interested. People sometimes ask about that, so we'll look at that here today as well. So, really quickly today, from my written journal this morning. Today wasn't really the best day. My accuracy was 50%. Took 6 trades. I had 3 green, 3 red today, and today was barely a green day, like barely. Um, I was kind of up early. I was green early, and then I took a couple of hits. There were significant losses, but I just barely eked out a green day today. Um, so let's see. Last night. So from the writing in my journal from this morning. So I keep a handwritten journal while I'm trading, and last night I went to bed super late. I was actually recording yesterday's video and trying to get it all straightened out so I could get it posted. Um, so I was up late, and then I didn't get as much sleep as I would normally have liked to, and I'm pretty sure that it affected my trading this morning. And I noticed that from just going over my journal. Um, I was extra tired in the morning and kind of achy, and um, so I really do need to, and I have been working on getting my sleep schedule better so that I can get up in the morning and I'm in a better state of mind to meet the markets in the morning, the pre-market, I should say. Um, so after I had my watch list set up, I almost missed a few things right at 7 o'clock because I was running late because I got up a little bit later than I would like to have. But The first trade that I took was GLE right at 7 a.m. And so I took that trade at, let's see, $2.47. And you can see where this is where I buy in at. And then I set my stop and my target. And, this is embarrassing. But you can see my stop. I was way below my stop here for quite a while. In my mind, I was kind of waiting for the volume to come back, which it did eventually. I figured because it was like right at the pre-market open, right at 7 o'clock, that some people were going to be slow to catch up. So the volume kind of was like, let's see, so 20, 30, 50,000, maybe 100,000 on each of these candles, and then it really popped here, 200, 700 million, and that was at about right at 730, 735. So I actually did hit my target here. It was at 739. So I got out of that position. I took 50 shares out at $2.97 because I thought it was going to continue, but it didn't. And so then I took the remaining shares out at $2.88. So that those two first trades, the first 2 trades that I took there were green, and then the next one, I was like super optimistic about GLE, and so I took another one at 744 at $4.24. And that was really stupid. Um, because the price tanked right as I was taking that trade. And then so I had to jump out at $3.51. So that was a red trade. Actually, that was a pretty ugly trade for me. So that was the first three trades within the first 45 minutes of pre-market open this morning. And one thing that I did notice when I have like a lack of sleep, like this morning, was that my thinking process is cloudy or slower. And looking at it, like I half of those two of those trades that I had taken in the morning, I should not have taken if I was in a clearer state of mind. So, like this one right here that I took at 7:44 and got out at 7:46. Like I don't even know what I was thinking. I have nothing to say about that because I don't know what I was thinking there. Um, MACD, I can't see it on this chart, but I think it was flipped right there. It's just above where you can see it. Um, and then let's see. So I took a couple other trades which we'll look at, but I came back to GLE later in the morning at 8 o'clock, 8:06 actually, and I took that trade at $3.78, and I got out at 3.47. So that was another red trade there. Um, and let's see. So in between, I took JBDI, and let's see, where is JBDI? Right here. So this was one thing I need to learn is getting these charts set up so they don't move around every time I change screens. Um, So JBDI popped, man. The volume popped from like 20,000 to 200,000 right at 8 o'clock. So I got in JBDI at $3. Actually, I got in at 271 and got out at $3. Um, and that one I split also. I got out at $3, and then the other half of my original trade I kept. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it was just because I was tired. Um, and I watched the price tank. And this one I didn't really wait. I didn't hold it too long. It hit my stop, so I got out at $2.50. So that was another red trade. So today was not the best. I mean, it was a green day, but barely a green day for me. Um, but I'm thankful for the opportunity this morning and the lessons learned. Um, and until about a month ago, middle of August, I was kind of all over the place. And I was still learning a lot of things, getting my system, and I didn't have any kind of, I had a strategy that I was using, Ross Cameron's strategy, uh, his 5 pillars of stock selection, but I was still learning the UI, and, I didn't have any kind of spreadsheets. I was doing all the math in my head, and, um, I really didn't, the charts were still, I didn't know how to use the charts, and I still have a lot to learn there too. But um, initially, when I first wanted to learn to trade, I didn't know anything at all. But I knew that trading was not going to be an easy path, and so that's one thing for people that are thinking about trading is to remember that it's not easy. It's not a get rich quick thing. Um, it's not like it's not glamorous. It's really it's a slow process. It's a learning process. It takes time. Um, it's like learning a language like Chinese or Latin. It's not easy. It's difficult and it takes time. So when I first decided that I was going to learn to trade, in my mind I told myself that I was going to take 10 years to learn it. Um, that way I wouldn't be as easily discouraged. If I had told myself that I was going to learn this in a year and that I was going to be all this successful or whatever, um, it would be much more likely that I would be discouraged because No, I don't know if anybody learns how to trade in 1 year. Maybe a few lucky ones, but yeah. So I'm kind of like on the long. I'm in this kind of like for the long haul, and I'm still learning. And as long as I have stuff to learn every day, or I can see where I did things right or did things wrong, and can criticize myself and look at what I did wrong and learn from that. That's fine with me. It's a learning process. Um, so it does take time, and you have to realize that. Um, it's not like learning how to paint. If you're going to paint a house or something, you can just grab a brush and a bucket of paint and just start painting. It takes time. And the second thing is to find a strategy that someone else is using and copy it. So, like I say, I use Ross Cameron's. Ross Cameron is very active on YouTube. He posts every day, sometimes twice a day. Um, he is very easygoing and very easy to understand. And he pretty much talks about his strategy every day. He'll talk about other aspects, some psychology and some theory and strategies and fundamentals and um, risk management and things. But he talks about his strategy multiple times a week. So he's reiterating it, talking about it. He shows you on the screen what he's doing. But he makes it very easy to understand. He doesn't talk in like technical language like a lot of other people do. Um, so I just use his strategy and I basically just do what he does. I don't do the copy trading thing. Is what I did initially is I would watch his videos to learn the strategy. And I tried it on my own. And then is what I would do at the end of the day. I would watch his video to see what he did in the morning. And then I would check basically my work against his work, like a student to a teacher, if you will. Um, if you want to come up with your own strategy, you can. Like that's definitely the long route. Like if you feel like you don't want to learn someone else's strategy, then have at it. But like I don't have the time. I don't know anything about the stock market. I know a little bit now, but when I first started, I didn't know anything about the stock market, and I wasn't about to try to learn how to use Thinkorswim, scanners, charts, stop losses, read all the indicators and all that stuff. I wasn't about to learn all that and also figure out a strategy. I just didn't have the time or the resources for that. And when I came across Ross Cameron initially, one of the first videos I saw of his, he talked about a strategy, and it made sense to me. I didn't know how to use it at the time, but it made sense to me, and that's when I started learning it. Um, but if you want to come up with your own, there are people that do that. You're going to have to go through back testing, and it's just extremely time consuming, and that's definitely like a 5 to 10 year process if you do that on your own. But find a strategy and copy it. And there's tons of people all over social media who are good examples that you could, copy their strategies. Ross Cameron might not be the best one for you. In fact, you do need to find if you don't want to trade the way he does, you could trade options or forex or commodities or, um, there's all kinds of different things that you can trade, crypto. Um, so you have to find the vehicle and the strategy that you want to learn, and stick with it. And then the third thing is when you start trading is to paper trade. Don't trade with cash. For some reason, there's a lot of people that, they'll get money from their parents or retirement or whatever, and they want to start trading with cash. Like, I don't recommend that because the money that you're going to be using, you're probably going to be losing it while you're learning to trade. And it's better to learn to trade with fake money before you lose all your money. So, some people say that they want the emotional attachment to trading real money. Like I don't, you know, have at it if that's what you want to do. But I don't, I don't think that that's necessary. I mean, you have to learn the UI, the user interface, like on Thinkorswim or whatever you're using, the broker. Um, you know, how to use the charts and the scanners and the price ladder, the level two, and all that stuff. You need to learn all that stuff. It's better to learn it um, with paper trading before you use your money. Um, and the fourth thing, I kind of mentioned it a little bit already, but is to find a strategy and stick to it, and don't jump around strategies. Like once you start trading or learning to trade, you're going to start seeing things on social media, and there's going to be people talking about, oh, my strategy is easy. I got the 10-minute strategy, or you can do my copy trades, or I have a program, and like it's going to be very distracting. There's a lot of noise out there, people talking about stuff, and this program or this membership, or um, but once you pick a strategy, just stick to that one strategy and don't jump around, because you're basically starting over every single time you try to learn a new strategy. So you got to give yourself a year at least to become familiar with the strategy. So find a strategy and don't jump around. Let's see, number five. These really aren't in any specific order. I just took a bunch of notes. So number five is what I would say is pick a schedule that you can commit to every day. I like the pre-market, um, but you can do. And really, it kind of depends on what you're trading to. But I like the pre-market from 7 a.m. till 9:30, sometimes a little bit later. Um, you could trade at the end of the day, from like 3:30 to 4:30. Um, so you just have to pick a schedule that works for you and commit to that schedule, whatever the time frame is. Um, and then number six, trading. Trading is a mirror, and it will show you your weaknesses and things that you're going to have to work on. And so you have to admit to yourself, you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. When you look at the charts, you're going to have to look at the charts and see what it's showing you about your own weaknesses and things that you're going to have to fix and change about yourself. And it's just really interesting because, when you look at your journaling or your charts, or you go back and study, the trades that you made, it really does show you who you are. And like I mentioned, I think yesterday, one of the things that I need to work on is making faster decisions. Um, and so having a spreadsheet really helped me with that. Um, but yeah, so trading really does show you who you are and what your weaknesses are. And you got to be prepared for that and admit to yourself that you need to work on things. Um, Number seven, don't get distracted with the noise on social media and with other trading methods. Yeah, there's just tons and tons of stuff. Like, it's really easy to get distracted with someone else's strategy, someone that's like showing you like Lamborghinis and nice houses and vacation and all that stuff, and they make it look really tempting. But once you pick a strategy, just stick with it and don't get distracted. Um, and then number eight is, along your journey, you have to learn how to manage your risk, and that is, you have whatever your capital is that you're working with, you have to be able to manage that. If you can't manage your risk, you're just gonna your account is like a sieve, and you're just gonna end up losing money everywhere. So learning to manage your risk, and you can actually. I like watching SMB Capital for this area. One of the things I like SMB Capital for is uh, because they talk about that quite a bit, is being able to manage your risk and learning how to do that. Their SMB is a prop firm in New York City. I think they have a desk in Miami too, and they do a ton of videos. They're like basically professionals, young guys, and those guys trade like 3 or 4 or 5 strategies at the same time. They're looking for setups, not just one. They're looking for multiple things all at the same time. They're like basically professionals. Um, but some of the videos that they make talk about that, and it's very important. Um, then number nine is is, I kind of mentioned this already, but you have to learn how to make better decisions. And part of that is having a disciplined life and a structured life. And, if you're already that type of person, someone that's athletic or in the military or just naturally, you have a disciplined life and, you have a routine, that's the ideal situation. If you don't have that, it makes it much more difficult to, get up on time, or, you're looking at the stock market at the same time every day. So you can look at you're looking for the same, type of indicators each day. Um, but having a disciplined life and making better decisions is definitely one of the things that you'll have to work on. And then number 10 is basically just having faith in yourself that you can learn it. I remember before I decided to learn trading, I was kind of wondering what I might do or what I might learn. Um, but you have to be able to tell yourself that you can learn it. So in my mind, when I look at people on social media, wherever it's at, Instagram or wherever, YouTube, wherever, um, I if I see someone else doing something and I'm determined to learn how to do it, I just, if they can do it, I can do it, kind of a thing. Like obviously I'm not going to be a pro basketball player, um, but like I think that if they can learn how to do something, that I can learn how to do it also. And so you have to be able to tell that to yourself, because there will become times that are hard and challenging and difficult, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to make mistake after mistake after mistake, and you're going to make the same mistake over and over, and you might get stuck. You might hit a wall, you might hit a ceiling, you don't understand. But you have to be able to tell yourself that you can figure it out, that you can do it. And you can, like there's no reason why that you can't. So anyway, that was just 10 thoughts on um, learning how to trade if you want to learn how to trade. Um, just some things that I kind of am going through or have gone through. And so that's about it for today. So that's kind of a lesson learned for me with the trades that I took this morning, and hopefully that helps you a little bit as well. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.